Let's be honest. You may take for granted once you see Elon Musk's name appear on some headline related to Mars or space. But that's not always the case. Especially when you hear that a German engineer, 19 years before Musk was even born, predicted someone named Elon would conquer Mars and is described as the leader of a Martian colony. Maybe it sounds weird for someone, but the coincidence is pretty damn wild. You probably think that you know a lot about him, especially what you've read on his Wikipedia page. But do you really know so much about him? Of course, you know that he is the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. But did you know that he ran a nightclub out of his college frat house so he could raise rent money? I bet you didn't. You know about his journey to the top of the totem pole, but did you know that he gets about 6 hours of sleep sometimes under his desk? In today's video, you'll find out some of the untold stories of Elon Musk, things that you have probably never heard of. So sit back and enjoy the video. Let's dive in. I'll start off with a prediction by Wernher von Braun, the Nazis' leading rocket man, with his science fiction novel called The Mars Project. In his 1953 novel, he claimed that Elon would bring humans to Mars. Although the name Elon isn't the character's name, but rather the title given to elected leaders of Mars, I must admit it's pretty nuts. On the other hand, if you know anything about Elon Musk, then you must know this is one of his greatest life goals. That guy von Braun must have developed some sort of time-traveling machine or predicting crystal ball. I don't know how else someone can explain this crazy coincidence. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, let's talk about the behind the scenes of how Elon Musk became Elon Musk. You probably know that he was born in South Africa and lived there until he left for Canada, where he attended Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, before transferring to the University of Pennsylvania. So I won't bore you with all the details. Let's talk about his short stint at Queen's University. In his freshman year at the university, he became friends with his roommate, Navid Farouk. Like a lot of us do. They bonded over their mutual love for strategy games. Farouk describes Elon as being a very intense person. He said, "When Elon gets into something, he develops just this different level of interest in it than other people." Farouk said in Vance's book, "This is what differentiates Elon from the rest of humanity." According to Farouk, Elon can filter out distracting information when he is faced with a problem, and researchers have linked this ability with high intelligence. He also described Elon as being a very high achiever in college. He would often compare his test results to those of his friends, and he almost always had the highest scores in the group. In fact, so committed was he to getting good grades that on at least one occasion, he managed to convince his professor to increase his test scores from a 98 to a perfect 100. From this, we know that Elon Musk has always had a competitive streak, way before he became the prominent businessman that he is today. Moving on, his ex-wife Justine Musk spoke about her relationship with Elon. They met in college and started dating shortly after their first meeting. Like Farouk, she also described Elon as an intense and committed man who never took no for an answer. She said, "You always knew it was Elon because the phone would never stop ringing. The man does not take no for an answer. You can't blow him off. I do think of him as the Terminator. He locks his gaze onto something and says, 'It shall be mine.'" Like with his friends, Justine said that Elon also compared his test scores to hers, and that it often felt like she was in competition with him. I'm not sure that translates to a very healthy relationship, but hey, his competitive streak and intensity no doubt contributed to him becoming one of the richest people in the world, so that clearly works for him. At the University of Pennsylvania, Elon's business traits apparent. He rented a frat house with his friend Adeo Rossi off campus, and they converted the large frat house into a nightclub, charging $5 for entry. They often had rent for the frat house in a single night because the club got to be quite well known, and even though I'm pretty sure that they didn't have a license. But rather than hang around and party, Rossi reported that Elon would rather stay in his room and play video games which he could play for hours on end. If you think that becoming a billionaire means that Elon Musk can finally relax and become less competitive and intense, well, I've got surprising news for you. That isn't the case at all. If anything, he's become even more competitive, dedicated, and intense than he was in college. And I can't say that I blame him. The business world is a cutthroat one, and if you snooze, you lose. So how intense do you think Elon Musk's work ethic is right now? Well, in 2018, he spoke to Kara Swisher in an interview and claimed to be working an astonishing 120 hours a week so he could increase production on the Tesla Model 3. In the interview, he said, "There were times when, some weeks, I haven't counted exactly, but I would just sort of sleep for a few hours, work, sleep for a few hours, work, 7 days a week. Some of those days must have been 120 hours or something nutty." He admitted that working for 120 hours a week is very unhealthy, and that he realized that he had been spreading himself thin. But he was focused on hitting Tesla's production target. He also said that working for so many hours can cause you to go bonkers. I have to wonder if this is his subtle way of saying that he went a little bonkers himself when he was working 120 hours. What's more, he often slept in the factory's conference room rather than go home. He is that committed to his work. Wanting to stay close to the factory at all times during the manufacturing of the Tesla Model 3, he would often sleep on the floor under his desk. YouTuber Ben Sullins started a fundraiser to get Elon Musk a new couch. I have no idea why he did this, because Elon is certainly more than able to afford a new couch. Or 1,000. However, the fundraiser managed to raise a whopping $9,000, which Elon then doubled and donated the amount to charity. If you think working for extended periods is in the past for him, then you're in for a surprise. Speaking to Joe Rogan in a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, he said that he typically sleeps for only 6 hours every night. And no, he isn't typically scrolling through social media like you or me. He said that he usually has meetings until 1 or 2 a.m., and even sometimes has meetings during the weekends too. Honestly, that sounds very tedious to me. But Elon seems to have it all under control. The parts of Elon Musk that many of us see are just the glitz and glamour bits. The untold story is one of a lot of sacrifices, long meetings that should have been emails, and a lot of intense and focused hard work. There is more to the man than meets the eye, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it. Also, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on engaging content like this one.